welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope everybody's having a good day. So today's video, it's really not too much to dissect. It's pretty open and closed, so it'll be short and to the point, or at least I'll try to make it as such. But it's also fitting because today, July 21st, is the anniversary of when Rick Ross had those correctional officer photos surface on the Smoking Gun and Media Takeout. Till this day, many people still bring that up and question Ross's background, although it has been addressed more or less plenty of times at this point. But apparently everybody in the media wasn't going to get away with freely discussing this on their platform, as DJ Vlad would find out the hard way, and to my surprise, a lot of people aren't even aware that this happened, so let me shut the hell up and get right to it. So as stated in the intro, 12 years ago today, the SmokingGun.com posted very detailed information about Rick Ross's past, photos of who they claim were Rick Ross, and supporting documents as well to confirm that back in 1995, at the age of 19, he graduated from the Florida Department of Corrections Training Academy and would maintain that job until 1997. Rick Ross was really blowing up at the time, but with these allegations being put out there, many people were quick to write him off as a fraud. Initially, Ross would deny that it was him in the photos. He'd say the following in one of the earliest statements in response to all of this. "My life is 100% real. These online hackers putting a picture of my face when I was a teenager in high school on other people's body. If this shit was real, don't you think they would have more specifics like dates and everything else? I'm in the entertainment business and a lot of people out here hate because I'm on top of my game. Like I said before, my life is 100% real." Of course, he'd eventually answer this truthfully, yet in the most long-winded ways possible in future interviews. Needless to say that at the time, a lot of artists and personalities would be asked to give their thoughts on Ross during interviews. Here's where Vlad comes into the picture. Now, if you clicked on this video, you're most likely familiar with DJ Vlad, or you've at least heard of him. But these days, he's mostly associated with the interviews conducted on his YouTube channel. But he has a history of hosting different mixtapes, directing, producing, and of course DJing. Back in 2008, he decided to pursue YouTube primarily as DVDs started to become significantly less lucrative. Vlad now sits at over 4 million subs on his channel. It's something about this guy and 4 million, I don't know. But anyway, Vlad would bring up the corrections officer allegations in interviews with the Clips and others. Ross, who was still vehemently denying that he was in these photos at the time, did not appreciate Vlad bringing this up. According to Vlad himself, on August 10, 2008, Ross would text him and say, "Niggas will learn." Then after texting back to see who the cryptic message was from, which in my opinion he should have known because he interviewed Ross on at least 2 occasions before this, and this is also how Ross obtained his number, Ross would text back clarifying, "Ross, I'm hearing things." After this, Vlad said Ross actually called him and said the following. "I've been hearing you talk about me on your website. We're gonna make a story. We're gonna see each other. We're gonna talk. Where are you?" It became clear that both were in Houston at the time for the 3rd annual Ozone Awards and TJ's and DJ's conference weekend. And for a quick synopsis for those unaware, the Ozone Awards were a product of Ozone Magazine, and Ozone Magazine ran from 2002 to 2010 and was primarily based on covering Southern-based hip-hop, though they'd begin to feature artists from other regions as well. From what was essentially a small operation in terms of staff, Ozone would have support from many big names and would collaborate with TJs and DJs for a pretty sizable event. And an eventful weekend it was, because before the actual award show even began, Trey the Truth swung on Mike Jones. But before I get sidetracked again, Vlad and Ross had a conversation, established that they were both in town, and then Vlad alleges that Rick Ross set up a meeting at the Hilton for them to talk. Upon arriving, Ross was accompanied by several other men who were later identified as his group, the Triple C's. And after a brief conversation, Vlad says that Ross simply said, "We got beef," and then he noticed he was surrounded by the others who began to beat his ass while Ross spectated. The men would then flee the scene, and 5 days later, Vlad would file a $4 million lawsuit against Ross, claiming that he orchestrated the attack. After the assault, Vlad required 7 stitches for a cut under his eye, had multiple facial fractures among a few other injuries. He looked to get $2 million in compensatory damages and $2 million in punitive damages as well. The lawsuit accused Ross of trying to stifle Vlad's journalistic reporting and freedom of expression. Rick Ross didn't acknowledge this too much in the media, and even when being questioned about it, he didn't really seem to take it too seriously.
Okay. Now, DJ Vlad, with that situation, what happened with DJ Vlad? We heard he's suing you for what, $5 million or $10 million, and there was an altercation. Now, whatever happened with that, is that resolved? Is that squashed? Or?
Yeah, that's under control. You know, it was an unfortunate situation. He was somewhere and he got his head bust. And yeah, they said it was like wide or something. I couldn't believe it. They showed me pictures. I was like, oh my God.
Oh man.
Wow. You know what I mean? Why would someone do this? You feel me?
Meanwhile, Vlad's media rounds during this time were just kind of embarrassing.
Some people would say, oh, he deserved that, you know, because Rick Ross, they called you in the room, there was a little scuffle. Well, basically, they kind of jumped you. And then the pictures online, you were very bruised up, and you got, like, your eye was real fucked up. So when does this, like, all get settled? They're not trying to settle or anything?
Who knows? These things take a while.
Right.
Are you really angry about it still? Are you kind of...
You never seemed angry about it.
How could you not be mad about that?
Keep moving. Keep moving and keep working. You know, I was back to work.
Yeah, you were.
Within a few hours, actually.
So were you embarrassed at all?
There's a certain degree of that. You know, but at the end of the day, we all human. You know what I mean? And it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, it could. Thank God it wasn't. I was like, thank God it wasn't me. Other people were hitting me up like,
This is just sweet.
no, other people were hitting me up. Other people were hitting me up like, yo, I was supposed to interview Rick Ross too, man, and DJ Vlad went first. That's how people felt. This is how I looked at it. It was supposed to be like, we gotta beat somebody up. That way everybody can stop asking me these questions. And no one does. Like now, no one's gonna ask Rick Ross any of those questions anymore because people are like, look, I'm not trying to get fucked up.
On August 15, 2010, exactly 2 years after the suit was filed, Vlad was awarded a total of $300,000, $250,000 in punitive damages, and $50,000 in compensatory damages. A lot of money, but a huge win for Ross as far as he was concerned. He'd speak to MTV News afterwards and say the following. I've been fighting a $4 million lawsuit for the last 2 years. My defense was a success. I've got to salute Xavier Donaldson, my attorney. Whenever an artist or anybody is put in a position such as a lawsuit in this capacity, so much evidence is represented, videotapes, what have you, to be able to walk out of a courtroom giving the plaintiff less than 10% of what he requested, I consider my defense a success. God bless America. The lawsuit is done. Even though I plan to appeal the decision, I thank the courts for the monetary decision that they made. They were extremely lenient. I appreciate that. It's back to the business for the boss. After the verdict, Vlad will make a statement as well. As an individual that covers breaking news in the hip-hop world, I'm grateful that the jury punished Rick Ross for setting me up, when all I was doing was covering the news and making commentary. The following day, Vlad would tweet out, "Today is a good day." And that is basically all there is to it. See, pretty open and closed. It's safe to assume this money helped give Vlad's platform a boost and helped it even snowball to where it is today. Over the years, Vlad has rubbed a lot of people in the industry the wrong way due to his methods of questioning, and he's often accused of leeching off the culture. While I do hold a lot of people accountable for actually answering potentially incriminating questions, I do understand where some people are coming from when they say that this man is in his FBI bag most times. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Did he get what he had coming in this instance, or did Ross take it too far? Sound off in the comments below, and don't forget to do that subscribe thing if you haven't, because there's a lot more in the works literally while this is uploading. And yeah, don't forget to keep leaving those suggestions for me in the comments below. I try to read everything, so yeah man, I do appreciate you guys for watching, and with that said, I'm out. Y'all take care.